I have now finished putting the bike together, so I've got everything on the bike now. I've changed the handlebar. It had a curved handlebar and I put a completely flat handlebar on it, and I think it looks a lot better. I also flipped this stem. It was sitting a bit higher like that, so I flipped it down. I think it just gives it a nicer look like that. So the next step is start pulling it apart and cleaning it up and respraying it. First thing I want to do is take the back wheel off. This is a 9-speed cassette and it's an 8-speed shifter. So I need to fit an 8-speed cassette, which I have found one. I'm going to try and fit it. So to remove the cassette, I needed this special tool. The cassette is spinning one way and the tool goes in here like that, and then using a wrench we need to go anti-clockwise. However, the cassette is spinning, so then use this tool called the whip chain that goes over the cassette and gives you a lever to stop it from going the other way, and then you can unscrew. I've loosened it up already, and I can just, using the wrench, should be able to just remove it. See, it's coming off. So this screws in and holds the cassette in place. It's all a little bit gunky, so I'll be cleaned. Let's see what the cassette is. So this is first gear, second, third, and the whole cassette comes off. So I should be able to. This one's all rubbish and broken up. That can come off. Should be able to get a new one to replace that one. And I'm going to try and fit an 8-speed cassette and see how that goes. So this is the existing 9-speed, and I had this 8-speed cassette. However, it's actually not an 8-speed cassette. There's 8 gears here, but it was a part of a 10-speed cassette. There's 2 more gears that are missing from this one, and unfortunately I can't use it even though this is 8 gears, and the reason is this space that's allocated for 8 gears is the same as allocated for 9 gears. It just means the gears are squashed in closer together and the chain becomes thinner, and also the derailleur is, when you shift it, it shifts a smaller amount to accommodate narrower gears. So I need an 8-speed cassette, which I don't have, and I might start working and pulling things apart until I find an 8-speed cassette, and then I'll add it to the wheel. I've been pulling things off the wheel, so I've taken the reflector off, I've taken the stickers off it. So I'll collect everything into the bag so I know where it is. I'll pull everything off and start cleaning out the hub, and then start cleaning out the wheel. And I also want to replace this tire. This is a 700 by 32. I think I would like to go 700 by 35 or 38, so I can go maximum 38 on this, the width of the tire, so it'll be more of a gravel tire. Quick update, I've taken the wheels off, they're over there. I've given them a good clean, and I've actually taken out the bearings on the wheels, gave them a wash in petrol, cleaned it all out, put new grease in, put it back in, and they feel a lot smoother. So that's the wheels done, they're nice and clean. The only thing I'm going to do to them is I'm trying to get some wider tyres, 700 by 35 gravel tyres that I'd like to put on them and then polish it up probably. I've taken the derailleur off, so that's soaking in petrol again just to help break down the grease and give it a clean, and then next thing is I'll clean it all, paint some parts of it and grease it all up, and I'm slowly just pulling everything off the bike. Re-derailleur. So I've just taken the fork out. Once I removed the stem and the spaces, it was still sitting there, so I had to use a hammer and give it a couple of blows, and then that would come out. That's the bottom. You can see how much dirt and sand there is. That's the bottom bearing, and there's a top bearing inside there. And the reason why it was a bit hard to put this down for it to come out is this little plastic ring. As you can see, it's coned and it was pushed down, and there's a space there, so it was getting squashed and it was holding the fork in place, and it was rotating with the fork. So I'll start taking everything out. I also need to make sure I remember the order, how things go. Just an idea, a video of how I'm removing the bottom and the top ring. So I've rotated the bike around along a screwdriver and a hammer, and just tapping the edges on the inside. That's starting to slowly come out. There we go. That's out. No damage, so that will all get cleaned up, and when it's time to reinstall, I'm going to have to press it in. I've been working on removing the cranks, and I started by banging with a mallet on this part of the crank trying to get it off, and that wouldn't work, so then I looked online how to remove it. Turns out you need a tool, a specific tool to remove the cranks, and I do have that tool. It came with my multi-tool set from China, and the way this thing works is there's a thread inside the crank. The big part screws in all the way as far as you can go. The more thread, the better grip, and then you start tightening these. I had to use tools to tighten because it would not come off. Sorry, it was hard going, and then gradually that pin pushes and pushes the crank off, and the crank comes off. I'll do the same thing on the other side.